Good evening, guys, and happy Monday to all of your sunshiny faces. It is Monday. Watch Monday Night Football. I told you guys I was thrown off by yesterday. I'm thrown off too because my mom's having her surgery tomorrow, so my dad is going to be home tomorrow and maybe Wednesday as well. I think that he's supposed to be home on Wednesday, and it depends on the type of surgery that my mom's going to wind up having to have, which, like, if they're gonna like either do it laparoscopically or if they actually have to like open her up, depends on how long she's going to wind up being in the hospital. So if it's laparoscopically, she's supposed to be coming home, I believe, on Wednesday. If it's not, she'll be coming home on like sometime later in the week, like Thursday or Friday or something, or maybe Friday or later or something like that. And so something like that. But I think if she comes home on Wednesday, then my dad will also be off of work, I believe, on Wednesday as well. But anyways, long story short, that's happening tomorrow. And so Matthew has been home since Saturday, you know, just to kind of like spend some time and stuff like that, and he'll be here so that we're all kind of like, you know, we can't be at the hospital obviously when my mom has her surgery. We're gonna have to, you know, because if they're only letting one person in because of COVID to the hospital, so like we can't go with, so we're just gonna be here, you know, so that we're kind of all together so we can get the news and then kind of pass it on to other family members as well and everything like that. But anyway, so Matthew is going to be home until possibly tomorrow or Wednesday, depending. If my mom comes home on Wednesday, then he's going to stay as well until Wednesday, and if not, he's going to leave on tomorrow. I actually finished, well, I stayed up. I watched the Bears game because it's on Monday nights, watched the post game, which ended at about 11. I just ended up doing my German lesson right now, and so I wanted to actually try and have done it earlier because I was like, I was probably gonna actually go late. Like, I know when the Bears have like a Sunday night or Monday night football game, normally watch the post-game show too, and so that winds up again being until like 11 o'clock at night or so, or Thursday night football too. So I ended up doing my German lesson now, and that's why I could have honestly been in bed by the time the game and the post-game was over at about 11 o'clock, but I stayed up to do my German lesson, which I'm learning animals. And I'll be honest, guys, the two that I learned, mouse and bear, kind of sound the exact same in English. And I already know dog. I call them dog in German all the stinking time, so I know that one. I know the plural for dog, and the same for cat, and cats I know as well. And so my mom taught me that one like back when I first started doing German, like over a month ago now. So the only, like, I only really learned 2 new words today, which was like eating, which is like if an animal is eating, sort of. There's a different word in German for it, and animal. Those are the only 2 new ones actually that I learned today, and I was sort of like, okay, then I'm just gonna do review because it was pretty easy. So I'm trying to get through. The way Duolingo does it is they do it in like levels. So this is the last part of the first level that I'm on, and if I wind up finishing like this last part, I can move on, but I want to like max out all of the other, like, you know, subsections sort of. So I was doing that to 2 of them on there already. That was sort of like review that I did as well. And then you can go back and sort of like do review for a second time as well if you want to, but it's just sort of like, it gives you like extra practice. Like, you might understand the bare minimum, but you know, it gives you like other ways to kind of use it and stuff like that, and obviously repetition of using it a lot. So obviously the stuff that I learned about in the first, you know, the first time I was doing it, I have all that pretty much down. I've been liking Duolingo. Like, so far, again, I've been using it for a month, and I think that it is really helpful. It's just like, I don't know, it's been introducing a lot of words, but I feel like I have a lot of words that I know, but I don't even know like how to phrase certain things too. Like, I can't even, like, I know in the next like level it's like how to ask questions more and stuff like that, but like so I can't really post questions. But what I think they do is that instead of just giving like the basics, like one of the things that I got, or my mom got, was this like German for Dummies, which I tried to play in my really old alarm clock CD player that's down here. I love the thing because it's so loud. It actually does help wake me up in the morning, although I kind of sometimes sleep through it. So I have a second one too that's over here, but and I sometimes sleep through that and my phone all at the same time, which almost happened today. But like I said, my mom came in and I heard her, and so she woke me up actually this morning. But I tried to play it in there, and I don't know if it's just the disc like is maybe scratched up, or it's actually my CD player. But the thing is like probably close to like, I would say over 15 years old now. I think it's older than Jack. And so I don't know if it works still or if it was just the discs weren't working. And I was like, I honestly don't have another CD player. Like, I don't know how else to test it out. Like, I mean, I guess I could use my computer. But yeah, so, and like what that just really does is like, it gives you more of, like, I feel like with Duolingo, it actually sets you up for being able to sort of like phrase your own things, if that makes sense. Like, it gives you enough information so that like you can actually say things, and gives you like sort of not, it doesn't really do well at explaining the why, or even to like sometimes, unless you click on the tip section, like what a certain sound makes, you know, like in a German word or something like that, or like, you know, if you see like this you know, paired together or something like that, it makes this sort of sound, like for us the TH sound, or you know, ing or something like that. You know, like when you see that, what type of sound it makes or whatever. It just sort of throws you into the lesson and has you do it. It doesn't give you a whole like, here's why and how we use it and all that kind of stuff very much or very well. It's just sort of like you have to kind of like learn it by doing. And like, I guess for some people that's okay. Me, I really want to like grasp and understand like why, you know, sort of thing. But like I said, it doesn't really give you a whole lot of like, you know, like, oh, I just want to start phrasing questions and asking people things and stuff like that. Whereas like, I feel like just like a German, like, again, audio tape or, you know, listening to stuff like that, it just sort of like, you just repeat things a lot so that you know, can say it. I feel like it's more like conversation things, like you would ask like, oh, what time is it, you know, or something like that, or like, oh, where is the bathroom, you know, something like that. You know, things that if you were in Germany and nobody was speaking English around you, would you be able to ask these questions so that you could still find a restroom for yourself? I feel like Duolingo actually sets you up for being able to understand without teaching you the why, but like, you know, sort of explaining and, you know, you understanding a little bit more in depth of why you're saying the things you're saying that way. Whereas like, you know, just a disc and stuff like that is just sort of like, yeah, this is just how you say what is the time, not without actually explaining like, well, then there's a different form of this to use for this, or, you know, that kind of stuff. I feel like it's just, like I said, I feel like I know a lot of words, but I feel like it's not a lot that I can really form a whole ton of sentences around. Like I can say I'm eating bananas and I'm drinking orange juice and stuff like that, but like, you know, it's not a lot of like, it's just sort of statements, I guess, that I can say. I can say statements in German, but I can't ask a whole ton of questions, which I feel like is more like conversation, you know, that you're actually having with people, whereas I can just make statements. I'm eating something, I'm drinking something, sort of thing, and I'm not like, you know, I don't know how to ask like, do you want something to drink? I know how to say, are you drinking? But I don't know how to say like, you know, do you want something to drink or anything like that. Like, it hasn't gotten me to that part yet. And so I know that I think like maybe the third or fourth or something like that, like lesson in the next level is questions. So I think maybe that's when we're actually going to start getting into that. But I feel like, you know, like I'm like, oh, I know a lot of stuff, but like my mom will like be asking me things, because I told you guys she took German for 2 years in high school, and so she'll be like asking me things and I'm like, I can respond to that, but I don't know how to ask you a question back, really. You know, I can just, like I said, I can make statements like, you're in the car, or we're in the car, or, you know, things like that. But I can answer people's questions, a lot of questions, because I know a lot of, like I said, statement words, but I don't really know a whole ton of like being able to ask questions. So yeah, I'm hoping that that gets to, you know, like we get to that point at some point. Even though it's weird too, because I know a lot of the, you know, still like the what, where, when, why, how, you know, those type of things. I know a lot of them already, but we haven't gotten to that point in the lesson where we're learning those things yet. So, again, it's helpful that my mom has kind of been teaching me advanced stuff than what I'm already learning. And I can always ask her too. I'm like, okay, so why does this do this? Because again too, they don't explain to you if you're asking someone, you know, if you're making a statement, you're saying you're drinking, you know, juice, versus you ask them, are you drinking juice? That's the only, like I said, questions that I can really pose right now. And it doesn't really explain that so far in the whole first level, like how you phrase it. Again, it's just sort of, you have to learn it by doing the lesson. And then I had to ask my mom, I was like, okay, so this is why. And there was another point too where I had to ask her something else, that again, like, doesn't necessarily get explained, at least so far, but it's things that we're already learning. So that's why I'm like, okay, I don't really, like I said, know entirely why, you know, we do this way. And so I have to ask her sometimes. And she, like, I know things though, I think more above her sort of level almost, of what she knows, even though it seems like she knows a lot more, like I said, conversation like things, whereas I'm learning a lot of the stuff so that I think I can learn more conversation, so I can have a full conversation and actually answer things that people are also asking me, which, like I was telling you guys too, my uncle speaks German and my aunt took German classes as well, like college classes, or maybe a college like class or something like that, telling my mom about it. But like I said, I don't know how well her German is either, and how much of a conversation I'd be able to have with her either. But yeah, that's the one thing that I'm just sort of getting frustrated with, because I was like, I really wish I could ask my mom questions. Instead I have to just go up to her and like make statements and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know, hopefully we'll be moving along a little bit faster then. But I also don't want to move too fast and not understand some of the stuff too, like just move too quickly and be like, oh my gosh, like I'm starting to get bored. But like, it's kind of just, like I said, repetitive a little bit. Like I'm learning new things, but it's like sort of the same stuff. Like I can say like, that's a dog, or, you know, I have a dog and stuff like that. But it'll probably be after this week that I'm finally on to the next like section, because again, I don't want to move too fast and get too overwhelmed and you know, it just kind of be too fast. Like I said, I like to go over and like review things a lot of times till I really start to understand it and get it and that kind of stuff. I feel like I've been doing really good just because I've been sticking with it and practicing it. And like I was telling you guys too, I feel like with any language that isn't a first language, you know, like you tend to, if you don't use it often, you will lose it and forget a lot of the stuff that you're learning. You know, my dad took Spanish in high school, my mom took German, and my mom still remembers most of what she learned, a lot of it. I was telling you guys too, when I started doing it again, she's like, all these filing cabinets just started opening up in my brain, and now I'm remembering all these German words that I hadn't spoken years. You know, and kind of the same with my dad too. He took a couple years maybe of Spanish or something like that, and it's kind of the same thing too. He's like, I can kind of understand some things that people are asking me sometimes, or you know, have a slight conversation. I know some words and stuff like that, but again too, it's like you don't use it, then you kind of lose it, sort of thing. And so I really don't want to put in all this effort and all this time that I've been spending to learning it to just, you know, like forget it. So I can keep, like I said, learning it and it starts to stick. So I was telling you guys that too, there's a lot of different ways. If you're talking to yourself, if you're writing things down, I have note cards, so I review my note cards. I have notes that I actually, you know, just writing things down a bunch of times. And again too, doing some type of, you know, listening, audio. You know, like I said, I think even Spotify has a lot of stuff on there too that you can listen to, like for foreign languages. And again, Duolingo is really helpful as well. So yeah, anyways guys, I need to go take a shower and get to bed now. I'll see you guys all in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye guys.